show, a big one that again was written for us by the MadCap folks, and then a little one that we take to little preschool children that was written by the Children's Television Workshop people who do Sesame Street. So there's a whole lot of different kinds of volunteer opportunities around those activities. My heartbeat is getting people taught and trained, either in CPR, first aid, fully certified, or in some of our other less formalized presentations, both for kids and for grown-ups. And we've had a pretty good track record of having pretty wide impact in that. And so I'm always looking for people interested in continuing that tradition, Red Cross out and about in the community, making sure that people are trained and prepared for, God forbid, when the next emergency strikes or the next disaster happens. And so tonight I was interested, that you all were interested to know something about CPR. Has anyone here ever been trained and certified in CPR? Let me see hands. People have done that. Okay. A long time ago? I won't make you say a number. A long time ago or not so very long ago?
6 months ago.
10? Oh, 6 months? Okay.
I mean, currently.
Every year?
ACLS.
Okay.
Yeah, current.
Okay. Well, we have a couple different kinds of training classes that we do. The first one that we've been doing for many, many years is the fully certified CPR. And that, a lot of times people will take that because their profession requires it. So it's a job requirement for folks. And that kind of CPR involves both compressions and breaths. But every 5 years, there is a review of what's happening out and about in the field as lives are saved or lost. And so they try to review what's happening as far as the practices and what the impact has been. And so, and then there's protocol that comes out. And then lots of different kinds of agencies set their training courses according to that protocol. So Red Cross being one of those many agencies that teaches CPR. So from that same protocol we teach, but we seem to come up with something just a little bit different. One of the things that was found out in the last round of research was this: compression-only CPR can save lives.
Compression only?
Yes, or hands-only, you may call it. They hear it called hands-only. So just doing compressions can save lives. Now let me say a little bit more about that. God forbid one of us here should just suddenly collapse, go down. In our system, we have about 4 to 6 minutes of oxygen that, if it were to be circulated throughout our system, it would keep our vital organs alive, our brain alive, keep us alive. And so just doing compressions can make a difference. Here I got a beating heart. It stopped. I don't know why. It stopped. And so here's all this oxygenated body and a non-working pump. And so if I can come along from the outside and press and be that external pump, I'm going to still continue to circulate that blood throughout that person's system, keeping them alive. Now, how many minutes did I say? 4 to 6 minutes, about that much of oxygen we have. So if I only had to do compressions for 2 minutes, and then, thank God, I heard the EMS show up and take over, there's a good chance that that person may survive. There's a chance that person may survive. And so depending on the study that you're reading, you may see that compression-only CPR is as effective as full CPR. When would it stop being as effective, though, if you just think it through? If I'm just doing compressions on somebody, I'm keeping them alive, right? Okay, exactly. So once that oxygen starts to get depleted in that person's system, they're going to need some from me. And so we do breathe out some oxygen. And so if I could give that person breaths and then continue to circulate that oxygenated blood throughout their system, then that would be even better for that person. However, boy, doing CPR for just even a minute or so can get very, very, very tiring. But it's the chance that that person has to survive. So the best thing that can happen for someone who goes down is early activation of EMS. So someone's calling 911, right? Okay. Early CPR. And then early defibrillation. So the fastest we can go on all of those things, that's going to give that person the best chance of survival. And So our goal at the American Red Cross is that, well, once that protocol came out, once that research came out, we started saying, what does that mean for us? Still, people need to be certified for their jobs, and full CPR is the better thing to know, I believe. But if compression only really does save lives, how good would it be if we could train everyday citizens who never find their way into a certified class to also save a life? It would be really good. So our goal as a nationwide organization is we would like to train 5 million people. And that's a big lofty goal. That's a big country. 5 million people in hands-only, compression-only, or what we call citizen CPR. It turns out that Cincinnati is a very, very bad place to go into cardiac arrest. Because so if you're going to do that, you should get on a plane and go to Seattle, because they have more people trained per capita, and more people who, in some research that they've done, report themselves as being willing to respond. So not only do I know what to do, but I'm also willing to do it. Seattle, Washington is the tops in the country. Cincinnati, not so much. So we'd like to change that. Which is odd, because it's a very giving area.
Great. Who's above us around here?
Oh, you know what? I don't know the ones that are in between. It's been a while since I looked at that. But yeah, Seattle, Washington, #1, Cincinnati down toward the bottom, and lots of other cities in between. I know, we don't like that, do we? We got Cincinnati pride around here, right? Greater Cincinnati. So we would like to train a lot of citizenry. And so we have a tool to do that with. And we actually have a literal compression tool to do that with. I can take anybody in this room who can speak in front of a group, even a little bit, and can perform this skill, and I can teach you how to teach other people citizen CPR. This looks like a grumpy face to me, but it's actually a man's chest, and it's the diagram to help us understand exactly where the hand placement would go if we were doing CPR. So this is a little compression tool, and it's in the shape of an ambulance because it wants to remind everybody that calling 911 is the single most important thing you can do for someone who has collapsed. Okay? If you never do another thing, if you can call 911 and get EMS activated, then that's the best thing you can do for that person. However, between the time that I called 911 and got them on the way, and the time that they show up, that time is so critical. So what happens in that time is key. And so for every minute that someone goes without CPR, their chance of survival declines 10%. So you can see how getting activated early on can make a huge difference. Now, this is super portable. There's 10 of these little compression tools in this bag. And I'm making these available to, I feel like a TV demonstrator all of a sudden. I'm making these available to people to borrow a bag of 10 chests and compression tools so that they can teach people how to do compression-only CPR. The compression-only part of this is exactly the same skill as we teach in the certified class. And what it says is this: you put your hands in the center of the person's chest, and you, for your own sake, for the sake of this victim, you would like to be able to last as long as possible, right? And so we're going to use good body mechanics, and really I should be on the floor doing this because we're rarely going to find a victim on the table. But I want to show you this. If I'm doing this right, my shoulders are over my hands. Let me see that. And my arms are straight, and I put the back of my hand on this person's chest. These fingers pull these fingers up so that I'm only having that, I'm sorry, I can't see. I'm only having that contact with that person's body in the center of their chest. I want my fingers down, I want them up. And then the rate at which you're doing this, you can put him on the floor.
Okay.
Are you going to show us on the floor?
I can, yes. The rate at which you do this is what? Who knows?
100 times per minute.
Uh-huh.
Staying alive.
100 compressions per minute.
Are you kidding? You're going to be doing it?
Yes, you are. Now you